What's going on, Jerome's? As the Minnesota Vikings unfortunately fall to 4-6 on the season, that means that draft just gets a little bit sexier. So we're going to go through right now and look at a perfect day 1 and 2 draft for the Vikings. So rounds 1 through 3, and Vikings currently in the number 13 overall slot. So we're going to go in. Here's the hypothetical mock draft parameters. So the Vikings picking 13. Cousins remains, which I think probably could be likely at this point. Anthony Barr cut. That's unfortunate, but deuces. Rudy and Reef are back. Anthony Harris walks in free agency, as well as no high-end free agents have been signed, given the Vikings 2021 cap situations. So going in, and I know, like, this guy will never go here, this guy will never go there. Tranquilo. It's November, man. A long time until the draft in April. Lots of things and lots of stuff that's going to be going on. So just calm down. We're having fun here, right? We need some fun after the Vikings just gave it away against the Cowboys. So what can you do? So we're going to go in, and we're going to go with the assumption of our mock draft that we did when we updated the draft order. So Lawrence Field-Sewell, Caleb Farley going to the stupid Cowboys. No pants for Trey Lance to Washington, as well as Zach Wilson going to the Falcons. Now, maybe Zach Wilson doesn't go to the Falcons, but can certainly be in the plans for the Panthers. Maybe the Lions get in on that action. But, I mean, if he's falling to 9, you're just chilling at 13. Maybe you make a move up to 8 and leapfrog the Falcons, but I digress there. So, say the Vikings are stuck in this spot. One caveat change. So Wyatt Davis goes to the Patriots. They pick him up as a replacement for Joe Thuney. So Vikings have missed out on the big 4 quarterbacks. Okay, it's understandable. As well as now you missed out on Wyatt Davis, who would have been a day 1 interior offensive line upgrade over Dakota Doder. So question is, right now, what do the Vikings do? So you missed out on your top 5 prospects. The top 2 cornerbacks have also gone. So what do you do in this spot? Do you go J.C. Horn out of South Carolina, the cornerback? Do you go Greg Rousseau from Miami, the edge rusher? And it doesn't really seem all that sexy. But oh, hello. All of a sudden, that phone rings, ring. Hey, Rick Spielman, it's Miami Dolphins. You know, the former team. You know, the team that used to be GM of until Nick Saban kicked you out. Yeah, we want to do some business because we already got Liam Eichberg as premier tackle for Tua, but also we want some extra love, and we can do this because we have an extra first and second round pick from the Texans. So we want to move up. We want number 13, so do that. Now, I know the Dolphins simply cannot resist Kyle Pitts in this spot, and I understand that they do have Mike Gesicki in this spot, but Pitts is basically a wide receiver. Monster red zone threat, clearly tight end 1 in this class, and it's not close. So they move up to 13. What do the Vikings get in compensation? Oh, looky, let's take a look. So Dolphins get 13 overall. Vikings move back 8 spots to 21, and pick up the number 53 overall pick, the second of the Dolphins' 2 second-round picks. So it's great. Life is good right now. And look at how that meshes up on the trade chart. So number 13 overall would be worth $11.50, and the 2 picks, 21 and 53, would tally up to $11.70. So again, trade chart, if you go back and look at some of these trades, it's always highly variant. The team that is asking always has to give up a little bit more, but frankly, it's fine. So just for our purposes in this exercise, it's a nice little trade. So the Vikings get back in the second round, and they move out of a spot at 13 when, frankly, I mean, they didn't really have a clear-cut pick. So that's what's great. When you have prospects ranked at approximately the same value, dropping back and getting some value, it's phenomenal. So what the Vikings do at this point. So after the board runs, Dolphins come up for Pitts. Niners get J.C. Horn to replace Richard Sherman. Broncos pick up Christian Darrisaw to pair up with Garrett Bowles, try and fix that offensive line. Jalen Waddle goes to the Bears. Rousseau to the Browns. Ooh, Rousseau and Myles Garrett, let's go. Asai goes to the Colts, and then Morig goes to the Eagles. They're perpetually trying to fix that secondary. And then the Cardinals inking up Travis Etienne, who are, Drake and Edmonds are fine, but Etienne, let's go. So the Vikings on the clock again. So could you say maybe trade back again? I mean, you could, but the Vikings, now they move back. They got a lot of value. And also, you look, only one offensive lineman has gone off the board, and Darrisaw, who I'm pretty sanguine about anyway. So the Vikings digging into this pretty solid offensive line class yet again. Selecting Alex Leatherwood, offensive lineman from Alabama. Former Irv Smith Jr. teammate. Let's go. 6'6", 310. senior. Yes, he is Bama's left tackle. Yes, he is phenomenal, but I put offensive lineman because blah, 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 why are you taking a tackle, don't need a tackle, blah, 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 that whole thing, right? But dude, I mean, he's versatile. He was a high-end right guard for the Tide for 2 seasons, moved to left tackle last year, first-team All-American 2019, allowed 0 sacks and 9 pressures, playing in the big, bad SEC West, has a rock-solid anchor, got mean streak to him as well, got violence in those hands, has a hell of a first punch. It's NFL ready today. Great in power concepts in the run game, solid enough as an athlete in zone, and I do like Leatherwood because he is that utility piece. Whatever Dennison and Kubiak want to do up front. So Riley Reif is back, like we laid out in the parameters. So he'll be back at left tackle. Is Ezra Cleveland still going to be at right guard? Did you kick him over to left guard? Put Leatherwood at left guard. Do anything that you want. Get the best 5 out there. And maybe eventually Leatherwood takes over at left tackle if you really do like Ezra Cleveland at that right guard spot. Him between Bradbury and O'Neal, super athletic. And I think that Leatherwood could scale up and be an NFL left tackle. Remember, Leatherwood is a guy who kept Jedrick Wills, who's a pretty damn solid left tackle for the Browns right now, also a top 10 pick. He kept Wills on the right side. So Leatherwood was the guy who took over for Jonah Williams. So he has certainly got his bona fides, and he's going to come in and be a rock-solid piece for this Vikings offensive line going forward. Woo! So what's phenomenal is that you move back 8 spots, you pick up a second-round pick, and you still get the guy who you may have taken at 13 anyway. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. Second round. So the Vikings in at 53. Now, you could say, could they push for Trask and Jones? In our simulation hypothetical here, they do go at the top of the second round. It's whatever. But the Vikings, so, I mean, you could trade down out of the spot as well, but a couple of needs. You have a defensive interior lineman at that 3-tech spot. Safety, potential need because of Anthony Harris leaving. Zimmer could always use a corner. I mean, let's be honest here. But I think this is a bit of a luxury pick, but I just can't help myself. Vikings number 53 overall, taking Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of the University of Purdue. Woo! Absolutely fun joystick player. 5'9", a $180 junior. First came back in 2020 was Friday against the Gophers. Put up like 150-plus yards from scrimmage and ran in a touchdown. And he is amazing. He really is Percy Harvin 2.0. He's a triple threat as a receiver, as a runner, as a return man, adding some value there. And like we said, it is a bit of luxury given that you do have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. But also, wasn't it a bit of a luxury pick in 98 when the Vikings took Randy Moss, when they had Chris Carter and 1,000-yard receiver Jake Reed? Just a little bit. But also, I think with the deepness of the wide receiver class, also with injury concerns with Moore, as well as potential small sample size in 2020. Plus, he was hurt in 2019. His last really good tangible tape is 2018. So that may push him into the second round conversation, and it would be absolutely dynamic for the Vikings. And like we said, could they potentially push for a quarterback here? Maybe Trask, maybe Jones. Sure. But man, absolutely a lot of fun. He would solve a lot of special teams ills as well, plus a premier gadget player. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. Could he be that vertical deep threat, Tyreek Hill adjacent? Could he line up as a runner as well? He's the kind of guy who's going to keep defensive coordinators up at night on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Damn straight. Because not only do you have to deal with Dalvin Cook, the best running back in the NFL, not only do you have to deal with Irv Smith, a phenomenal up-and-coming tight end, as well as Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Now, got Rondale friggin' Moore. Baby, you got a stew going. So, Vikings go offense the first 2 picks. Zimmer's fully pulling his hair up. I understand that, but not all about you, Zim. Not all about you. So, now into the third round, Vikings sitting at 77. Now it's time. Now it is time to get the quarterback of the future. Number 77 overall, the Vikings select Desmond Ritter, quarterback, University of Cincinnati, undefeated Bearcats. Let's go. 6'4", 205, redshirt junior. Now, we've talked about our love for Desmond, and it's grown exponentially. It's like the Grinch's heart and how the Grinch stole Christmas. It grew 6 sizes that day. That's my love for Desmond Ritter. So he has been more consistent, even though he's sort of been the same guy for the last 2 years as a starter. But a dual threat, long strider, will probably run a 4.6 at the combine or equivalent to the combine this year, and does have one of the livest arms in the draft. Like, it is a flick of the wrist. It goes 50, 60 yards. Has phenomenal technique at times, is NFL accurate at times. You just want a little bit more consistency. He will make mistakes. He will try and force it. He will hold on to the ball a little bit too long, but it isn't that he doesn't sense pressure. Like, it's not that situation. It's that he's so stubborn that he's going to try and make a play and help his team win. I think you can coach that out of him. And also, something that I mentioned that I love to see, where like any quarterback can look good when you're playing, Little Sisters of the Poor and you're winning by 50. But what happens when you get punched in the face? What happens when you face adversity? And he showed some onions in that comeback against Central Florida when they were down 14-3 after the first quarter. Something I love to see. He's a mature kid. He's a true leader of men. And the fact that Kirk Cousins could be back in this scenario again, he's going to be here 0 or 2 more years. It's not going to be 1. So Ritter can sit behind Cousins for 2 years and just absorb every single crevice of this offense, and then all of a sudden 2023, woo, let's go. Number 88. So finally, Zimmer gets on the board. 88 overall, Vikings take Darius Stills, the interior defensive lineman out of West Virginia, Mountain Mama. 6'1", 281 senior, just a phenomenal penetrating 3-tech, 3.5 sacks in 7 games, 6 last year in 12, and just a crazy first step. Like, he has an Allen Iverson adjacent first step when it comes to 3-techs. Does certainly have to develop as a run defender, but come in right away, just be that situational 3-tech B-gap exploder on passing downs and situations, and then develop the rest along the way. I think that he would be an absolutely fun project for Andre Patterson and company. Lastly, Zimmer also gets another pick. So this is the projected compensatory pick, pending what happens with Trey Waynes. Could be a third, could be a fourth, etc. But the Vikings get Anthony Harris's replacement in Ardarius Washington, redshirt sophomore out of TCU University. Now, I loved watching him because when we're looking at Gladney last year, Ardarius Washington really jumped off the film. 5'8", $179, baby Bob Sanders he is. Now, durability issues will be a concern, sure, but he's an absolute hammer in the running game. He's phenomenal in deep coverage as well. He's extremely feisty and getting after it, like all TCU defensive backs seem to be. Gary Patterson is cranking out some really good NFL level defensive backs back there. But yeah, he will attack the ball. He's not passive back there, and he's a lot of fun, man. He's a lot of fun. Like we say, baby Bob Sanders, he does have a little bit of Buda Baker to his game as well, and I think that he would come in, be an instant upgrade over Metellus, over Curtis Riley, over whatever safety TBD, and would be a nice running mate to Harrison Smith if they can't hang on to Anthony Harris like they did here in this situation. And also, he and Gladney would already have some trust and chemistry built in. I think that potentially could go a long way, as Gladney is already establishing himself as a starter as well as the Vikings slot cornerback. So that's how the Vikings end up. First 3 rounds, day 1, day 2. And frankly, I'm pretty okay with this. Well, obviously I'm biased because I did it, but the Vikings get day 1 contributors on both sides of the trenches. Leatherwood would be a starting offensive lineman, don't really matter where for the Vikings. Maybe he's a future starting right guard. Ezra is the future starting left tackle. I'm perfectly fine with that, as well as Darius Stills at that 3-tech come in on passing downs and just blow things up. He would have the best first step of any 3-tech on the Vikings, including James Lynch, who they won't give the time of day. Also, you get an instant upgrade at returner in Rondale Moore, as well as a gadget on offense would be a ton of fun. Plus, your quarterback of the future, the heir apparent, the QB in waiting, Desmond Ritter, University of Cincinnati. Let's go. As well as Ardarius Washington coming on in, be a starter opposite of Harrison Smith at that safety spot. Gladney chemistry. Let's get it going. Boom. But that's it. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts. The perfect 3-round Vikings mock draft as a right meow with trades. Well, trade. Singular, but you know what I mean. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.